What's going on, Broncos country? Welcome to another edition of Broncos Daily with your host, Kurt Valenti. Please like and subscribe the page and, of course, leave comments. And we got some great comments from viewers from a couple of the recent shows that I'm going to get into tonight. But, you know, again, big off season, not just for the Broncos, obviously for free agency, the draft, and the trade, but they also made news at the end of last season that the Denver Broncos will be getting a new stadium, hoping to, open it for 2031. So late last week, the Denver Broncos had a press conference just to go over some latest news, some updates about the new stadium, and nothing really, nothing breaking news related or any information that's going to be earth shattering. But I just like the idea that the Broncos had a press conference, got some questions asked, and just kind of kept the, not just the NFL, but the area, right? The Denver surrounding area of just what's going to go down, right? So let's just look at a couple of the top things that were said that night. It's going to be 150 acres. So they are going to expand it a little more than what they thought the whole stadium, size-wise, acre-wise will be. They're talking about doing a potential tailgate area. I know people were concerned about, what are they going to do with the tailgate? How are we going to tailgate now? So again, nothing is official, but they are planning something to where they are going to have an areas for specific, fans to be tailgating. The capacity is still undetermined. Again, how many people are going to be able to get into this stadium? Is it going to be one of the biggest stadiums in the NFL? What are they going to have, right? We always think of Dallas and it's, the Jumbotron that they have and how big it is. And like, what are the Broncos going to do? The one thing, again, even though we don't know what the Broncos are going to quote unquote officially do and have in their stadium, we know that it's going to be top of the notch, right? We have seen with this ownership, this Walton Penner ownership group, that, they're not just here to make money. They're here to compete for championships, do everything, do right by the coaches, the players, the fans, the city, and, do everything in a championship level, right? Their first year, even though they weren't going to the postseason, their last game, they didn't like the way the stadium, the grass looked, and they just put in, I want to say it was like $200,000 of like grass in to fix up the grass. They've done this numerous times. So we know with this ownership and with this new stadium, not even that it's just going to be state of the art. It's going to be, I'm going to say it's probably going to be the best stadium in the NFL when they're done in 2031. It's just these people know, again, from their businesses and the success they have of, what you have to put in, right? You've seen them spend money on a quarterback, right? And even though it didn't work out with Russell Wilson, you've seen them spend money paying Sean Payton a lot of money. And I mean, that's a home run hire. And listen, that's what it was going to cost to get him. And they didn't care. They did it in free agency. I think we're going to do it in free agency again this year. So I am super pumped about what this stadium could look like. I know it's a ways out. It's nothing. It's not around the corner, but it's not like it's 10 and 15 years down the road. It's less than 10 years, right? You're talking 5 years. This stadium's going to be built. So I am excited. I am excited about more news that comes out for it. I like what the Broncos did by just, again, even if it's about acres and a tailgate. And, they did say at the end of 2026 or at the end of this year, they want to have all the plans done to tell everybody what they're going to do, what it's going to consist of. So I am excited to hear that by the end of the year. But I'm excited. What's your thoughts on it? Is there something you want, something you don't want? Why you think this stadium is going to be one of the best in the NFL? Please leave your comment, and we will discuss it on another show. Topic 2 tonight, which I want to talk a bit about, and we've been adamant about weapons in this offseason, right? wide receiver, tight end, and of course wide receiver. Wide receiver, tight end, and of course running back. And we've mentioned a couple of wide receivers, and we've always, George Pickens, Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase, and if any of those guys are available, hey, we're going to jump in. A.J. Brown, we got to jump in and go get him. But there's another guy where, I think he kind of, gets looked a little under the radar. I don't, want to say he's on the level of an A.J. Brown or a Justin Jefferson or even a George Pickens, but this guy is a pretty damn good wide receiver, and that's Jaylen Waddle of the Miami Dolphins. Is he a 1? Is he a 2? That's the big question, right? So I will say this, though. Whether he's a 1 or a 2, he has caught the eye of our head coach, Sean Payton, because for now 2 seasons, and it was a little more at the end of the trade deadline last year, with every reports where the Denver Broncos were in and looking for big-time wide receiver help. And the rumor and the name that came up a couple times was Jaylen Waddle. Nothing obviously materialized. He stayed in Miami. But, could this be the guy where we make this trade, and whether it's a first-round pick, a second-round pick, and a second and a third, and obviously he's not a free agent, so he's under contract, so we're going to have to trade for him, right? But, is he the guy that takes us over the top? We're talking a bit, he is under contract through 2028. He's roughly making $28 million a year. Last year's stats, 64 for 910, 6 touchdowns. He played 16 games, not 17. But he is a home run hitter. You just put that film on and you watch film of this guy, and we don't have anybody like him. I know people are going to say, well, we have Marvin Mims and he's kind of like him. Kind of is, that's the key word, kind of. He's not him, though. Waddle is a better receiver. This guy, since college, has been a home run hitter, an obvious first-round pick, and I love him. I think, again, he just puts a different dimension, gives our offense a different dimension. We do not have, as much as I love Cortland Sutton, and again, I hope he's a Bronco, and whether he's 1A or 2, he doesn't give you that explosiveness, right? He was kind of never like that. I mean, maybe before the injury, but then when he got the injury and he came back, settled in, he's more of like a possession guy, bigger receiver. He'll go get, he'll go make a big catch in a tight spot, and that's great. And we need players like that. But we also need a home run hitter that is a full-time wide receiver. We saw it with Marvin Mims in the postseason. It changed the offense a little bit. But can we trust Marvin Mims and say, hey, you're going to be our number 2 or number 1 receiver? He's not a number 1 receiver. Waddle, I like. I just think, again, you watch the film and it just like, man, does he like jump out on just how explosive he is, and the yards after catch, the big time play, and I think that's the kind of player we need. Again, is he my first choice? Listen, Justin Jefferson's going to be my first choice. I'm going to say it on every podcast video. It's here. I just don't know if that's reasonable. I don't know if my Minnesota is going to go trade for him. But after that, again, you got A.J. Brown. Again, probably more talented than Waddle, right? Can do a little more than Waddle. But listen, he's a headache. And do we want that headache? Reading from some comments from people, leaving comments on the podcast, some people would say yes. A lot of people are saying no. So again, if you're worried about that and you don't want to deal with that, hey, go in another direction. Pickens, again, big time player, explosive. Going to probably be about the same money. You're going to have to sign a longer deal, right? Because he's a free agent. So, it's going to be something where they franchise him. And now you're going to have to commit to an extension. And then listen, Waddle's going to be right there. I would have loved them to get him last year at the trade deadline. Again, there was a lot of talk. Again, when they say there's smoke, there's fire. So we obviously know Miami and Sean Payton, Denver and Sean Payton is interested. They talked with Miami, and we don't know what Miami is going to do, right? Who's going to quarterback Miami? Is Tua going to go back there? New coach over there. Do they blow it up? Do they want some draft picks? So very interesting, But I am intrigued. Again, he gives us something we don't have. He's definitely a 1A to Sutton and maybe a 1. And, I'll use the name like a Brandon Cooks, a young Brandon Cooks in New Orleans that Sean Payton had when he had Michael Thomas along with with Brandon Cooks. The explosiveness there. And again, when you have the explosive receivers and you can now blow off the top of the defense, that's going to help our running game, right? Like we don't have receivers that scare people. So that's why they're so close to the line. You see 8 in the box, 9 in the box, and it's taken away our run game. And we don't have the big plays. It's honestly, our big plays are Bo making scrambles and finding somebody. It'd be nice to, throw a 10-yard slant and have somebody go 80. And that's the kind of player Waddle is. So I am intrigued. What do you guys think? Leave your comments on that, please. Let's switch over to the other side of the ball. We were talked a lot about this offseason about middle linebacker, right? And we talk about the defense and we say the Denver Broncos are set defensively. Yes and no, right? I mean, I'm very happy where we are defensively. We just have to straighten out and decide what we want to do with this middle linebacker spot. And what do I mean by that? Again, Alex Singleton, free agent. Stranad, free agent. Greenlaw. Again, nobody was more pumped up than me last year in free agency when we signed him. Of course, the injuries were always the question mark. He got hit with injuries. He really did not develop. Besides maybe a couple goal line stands against Houston, he really did not, earn his money and earn the reputation of the kind of player he are this year in Denver. Now, am I willing to give him a second chance? Absolutely I am, because he's a difference maker player. So if we're not going to go Stranad, we're not going to go Singleton, we talked about the other day, can we draft the first round player? Can we draft somebody at 30 or move up to go get a middle linebacker and say, here's the keys and just give the rookie the middle linebacker spot? That's a lot to ask on a championship defense. Or do we invest in free agency and go get one of the top players available as a free agent, linebacker, Devin Lloyd from the Jacksonville Jaguars, 27 years old, 4 years in the NFL. In his career, 61 starts, over 400 tackles. But here's the key, guys. Great in something that we struggle with. Great in pass coverage. He could cover tight ends. He could cover running backs. Nobody on our team can do it. Stranad was the best one we had. But again, he's never really been a starter in this league. Are we going to invest in money, invest in say, hey, you're going to be now our middle linebacker? Or do we go out and really go get a star linebacker and put him in the middle? Now, do we cut Greenlaw? Can we play Lloyd with Greenlaw? I mean, I would love that. If we could get Devin Lloyd and get Dre Greenlaw back healthy to where he was with the San Francisco 49ers, are you kidding me? That is a defense where, again, the rest of our defense up front and the back end, best in the NFL. Linebackers a little, we got to work on that. But I'm telling you, it's going to cost money though, right? He's going to be top of the line free agents. Teams always need middle linebackers. Jacksonville's going to try to get him. So it's going to cost money to pry him away. What are your thoughts on that? I would love to do it again. I would love to do it. Or would you rather say, hey, bring Singleton back. We're going to gamble again with Greenlaw. Maybe we'll draft somebody and we'll work it that way. Or do we give Stranad the starting job, put him with Greenlaw and say goodbye to Singleton? And again, same thing. Draft somebody first or second round and go from there. I think drafting somebody in the first round is just a little... It's just a little, to me, it's too much. Like, I can't rely on somebody just, we're drafting, put them in the middle. Hey, we're trying to win a championship. You're going to be now the middle linebacker. I don't mind doing it second round and letting them sit behind a Greenlaw. And again, if you want to bring Greenlaw, you bring Greenlaw back, you bring Singleton or Stranad back, and then I groom him. Okay, if I want to do that. Or just go get the best linebacker, and that's Devin Lloyd. Get him, put him there. It solves our issues of covering tight ends. It solves our issues of covering running backs. listen, that makes our defense go from elite to super elite. So, what are your thoughts? It is going to cost a lot of money. Um, will that hurt us going to get weapons on the offensive side of the ball if we're going to put more money into the defense? You guys let me know. Again, it's in, I'm intrigued because, again, I want to see what this contract is, how much, how many years, how much. It's really not the years for me. It's going to be per. Like I said, I need to save salary cap for offense. We got to go get at least two. We have to go get 2 of 3 position weapons. Definitely running back. Definitely another wide receiver. Do we roll the dice with Ingram and sign this linebacker? What are your thoughts on that? Again, and when we say what are your thoughts, please leave comments. Again, I love you guys leaving comments. I'm going to read 2 comments from one of our prior shows. And you leave the comment. Hey, I will get it on the show. We will talk about it. We will debate about it. Give me your thoughts. I'll give you my thoughts again. And we'll go back and forth. But again, I want this to bring the Bronco fans in, bring Bronco country in. Give me your thoughts, and let's discuss it. I have 2 comments from our good friend Michael Pack 7591. First comment is, he has a comment and then a question. So his first comment: let's be clear, Bo Nix is the best quarterback taken in the 23 draft. He's broken more records than any of the other quarterbacks in that draft, and in some cases the best ever. If Bo Nix was in a quote-unquote sophomore slump, we're going to see a massive jump in year 3. I'm with you. Michael, I'm with you. I don't care what all these people on TV are saying. I'm sorry. I'm watching it with my eyes. Bo Nix has been better than Caleb Williams. Bo Nix has been better than Jalen Daniels. And you know what? Again, don't get me fired up on this one. I do not want to hear Drake May over Bo Nix. I'm sorry. I don't want to hear Drake May was the runner-up for MVP. You watch that postseason. He was not an MVP caliber player at all. Was Bo Nix? I think Bo Nix was maybe the best quarterback in the playoff. I mean, I know he played 1 game, but that was probably the most impressive performance by any quarterback in all of these 2025 playoffs, what he did in Buffalo. So, you know what? Yeah, I am with you. I think he is the best quarterback in that draft. And I think he's going to show it again and really show it next year. Because year 2, like they're saying, if that was a sophomore slump, I don't know. 14 wins and doing it without a lot of weapons. Now we're going to give him a legit running back, give him another wide receiver, maybe give him an upgraded tight end. Listen, the sky's the limit for this guy. I am just super pumped that he's our quarterback. I am excited. This kid is going to win a championship, win a Super Bowl for us. So I do agree with you. I think he's the best in that class. And the second question from Michael is, it's a question about how we build this team. And I'll read. It's a little long, but I want to read it so you guys understand how I'm going to answer it. So Michael Pack 7591. My question is, do we build for now or do we build from now on? If we build to win the Super Bowl for this next season, we can add older players, but I think that we need to build this team with young studs. If we want to build a dynasty, we need dynasty builders. It really bothers me that so many people are down on RJ Harvey. Let's not forget that he was a rookie, and it would be foolish to demote him. He's a good player that can be great. Look what happened to Javonte Williams. We let him go too soon. I kind of think that we let people go that have went on and after leaving the Broncos to have major impacts for other teams. That's exactly what Sean Payton said he didn't want to do. We need running backs and right ends. We need to stop the run. We're just a few pieces away from having the best team in the league. Maybe we are now, but we need to hit in the draft and free agency. That is a great point, and that is a point where I think a lot of people have different opinions on. I am a firm believer in, I can't worry about, I have to win 1 Super Bowl before I win 2, 3, and 4. Is it nice to say I want a dynasty and I want to win 3 and 4 Super Bowls? 100%. But you can't get 2 without 1. And our Super Bowl window right now is right now. And what I mean right now is next season. I think the next 2 years are 100% going to be our best Super Bowl window. I'm not going to say we're not going to be. We should be in a Super Bowl contention every year with a quarterback like Bo Nix and a head coach like Sean Payton and our defense. Is it going to go up and down every year? Of course. Everybody has up and down seasons, right? The Patriots didn't win every year with Tom Brady. Kansas City didn't make the postseason last year. You're going to have injuries. Other teams are going to step up. It's about tough schedules. But you know what? I can't worry about 5 and 6 years down the road. You can't. You have to go and win one championship right now. Go win your Super Bowl, and then I adjust to it, right? That's just the name of the game. Like, that's what I want to do. That doesn't mean I want to throw every draft pick away. I don't want to have any young players. No, of course I want young players, but I need players right now that are going to compete for a Super Bowl right now. And I think that hurt us, right? And I've said this. I'm not against Troy Franklin and Pat Bryant. I just don't think they could be wide receiver 2, wide receiver 3 on a Super Bowl team right now. They are going to be great players going forward. But right now, we're better off with a veteran. We're better off with somebody who been there, done that, who's going to, hey, in a postseason game, you can trust more. Same thing with running back. I'm not down on R.J. Harvey. I love R.J. Harvey. I think R.J. Harvey's a big-time running back, a big-time player. But the problem is it's like we don't have time for him to learn on the job, right? He can learn on the job as our backup, as our third down back, again, throwing him the ball. But you saw when we wanted to make him the feature back, it just didn't work. So, I can't gamble again with that next season and say, let's give him more carries and we'll give him more confidence. Like we don't have the opportunity. We don't have the chance. We don't have the opportunity to do that. We have to do that right now. So that's why I want to upgrade. So you know what? I do want to go all in. I want to go all in for this season and next season. But again, still have a foundation for the future. And I think we can do both. So thank you, Michael, for those comments. And again, please, guys, leave your comments. Agree with me, disagree. I will get it on one of the shows. You want to answer back to my comments, but I love interacting with you. So yeah, please like the page, subscribe to the page. Thank you guys. You're doing such a great job. Like and subscribe and bring some more Bronco people over. Let's talk about this big off season and leave your comments and I'll get to it. But thank you for another edition of Broncos Daily. Check back soon and go Broncos.